Tangled in Tuscany. Chapter 14. A Night Without Rain. The tables were set beneath a canopy of lights strung from olive trees, their golden glow swaying gently in the late summer breeze. Long wooden boards ran parallel across the courtyard, dotted with glass lanterns, rosemary sprigs, and bowls of marinated olives. Someone had laid mismatched cushions along the benches. Chiara, probably, with her flair for effortless comfort. And the scent of roasted garlic and thyme drifted from the outdoor oven like a promise. Sophia stood near the kitchen steps, holding a pitcher of water as dusk softened into blue. She hadn't dressed up exactly. Just a simple linen dress the color of sun-bleached coral, and her hair pulled up in a twist to keep the heat off her neck. But something about the way she moved, light, sure-footed, turned heads as guests arrived. Vineyard workers, neighbors, even the local cheesemaker with his wife and 3 giggling daughters. Not that she noticed. Her focus was on the flow of the evening, helping Chiara reset a corner of the tablecloth, rearranging chairs, brushing a stray cork from a placemat. She hadn't meant to be so involved, but somehow it felt natural now. She belonged here. She only felt the weight of a gaze when she looked up and caught Luca watching her from across the courtyard. He was leaning against the stone archway, wine glass in hand, his shirt collar open and sleeves rolled. He wasn't smiling. Not quite. But the corners of his mouth held something quieter, more dangerous. Heat bloomed low in Sophia's spine. She looked away. That night, the stars came out early. Dinner began with toasts. Alessia thanking the workers, Matteo offering a short, surprisingly poetic tribute to the vines, and Luca, ever brief, simply raising his glass and saying, "To what we carry, and what we choose to share." They drank, plates passed hand to hand. Porchetta stuffed with fennel, grilled vegetables charred at the edges, a risotto that Chiara insisted needed more lemon, but which everyone devoured anyway. Sophia found herself wedged between Luca and Viola, of all people, with Chiara directly across. It should have felt odd, but it didn't. Viola was warm tonight, lightly teasing Matteo, swapping tasting notes with the cheesemaker's wife, even complimenting one of Sophia's photos now framed behind the drink station. Luca, for his part, stayed mostly quiet. But he didn't drift. He passed Sophia the water jug without her asking, brushed her hand briefly as he reached for the bread. Once, when she laughed too hard at something Chiara said, he leaned in with a smirk and murmured, "You have no idea how loud that was, do you?" His tone was indulgent. She nudged him with her shoulder in reply. Later, after dessert, plum tart with olive oil crust and too much powdered sugar, they lingered over espresso and limoncello. The conversations thinned into laughter and stories, some in Italian, some half-sung in dialect. Someone produced a guitar. Someone else added a harmonica. Sophia sat back in her chair, cup in hand, letting the scene settle around her like a warm shawl. For a moment, she forgot New York entirely. The night was deepening when she slipped away from the table to take a breath beneath the fig tree. The air smelled of smoke and rosemary, her skin still humming from the brush of laughter and proximity. Footsteps approached behind her. She didn't have to turn. "Escaping?" Luca asked, his voice low. "Regrouping," she said, still facing the trees. He came to stand beside her, silent for a beat. "It's strange," he said finally. "I've seen this courtyard every summer of my life. But tonight it feels different." Sophia looked at him. "Because everyone's here." He shook his head. "Because you are." The words landed quietly, but not lightly. She didn't answer right away. Let the moment breathe between them. Behind them, the laughter from the table drifted like smoke, warm and distant. "I used to think I knew what this place was," Luca said softly, eyes tracing the edge of the vineyard line beyond the courtyard. "What it asked of me, what I owed it." He wasn't guarded now, just reflective. "And now?" she asked. He glanced at her, candlelight brushing the edge of his profile. "Now I'm not sure if I'm following the map I was given, or drawing something new." Sophia's heart picked up. "I think," he added after a pause, "you make it easier to imagine something less rigid, less lonely." Her breath caught. "I never planned on this," she admitted. "Not the vineyard. Not you. But some part of me doesn't want to leave." He turned, fully facing her then. "You don't have to," he said. "Not unless it stops being real." She didn't speak. She just let her hand brush his. He didn't pull away. Instead, he turned his palm up and let their fingers find each other. They didn't go far. Just a short walk to the vineyard's edge, past the old olive press and down the row of moonlit vines. The sky had cleared completely, stars crisp and close, the earth still warm from the day. Sophia leaned against a low stone wall, the faint scent of crushed thyme beneath her sandals. Luca stood a few feet away, then closer, arms crossed, face unreadable. "This is nice," she said, voice light. "It is. I didn't expect you to follow me. I always notice when you leave a room." She swallowed. He stepped forward slow. "I don't want to ruin anything, or rush. But I'm not going to pretend anymore that I don't see what this is." Sophia met his eyes. "Then what is it?" He didn't answer immediately. Just reached out, not to kiss her, but to take her hand again, hold it steady between them. "It's something I didn't know I wanted until it scared the hell out of me," he said. Her throat tightened. The breeze picked up, tugging gently at the hem of her dress, sending a low rustle through the vines. They stood like that for a long time, not speaking, just touching, just being. When they finally returned to the courtyard, most of the guests had gone or wandered toward their rooms. Only Chiara remained by the flickering candles, gathering stray glasses. She saw them arrive together, hands close but not touching, and raised one brow. Sophia gave her a look. Chiara just grinned and blew out the nearest lantern. The night held no rain, only stars, only warmth. Chiara had just finished collecting the last of the glasses, then disappeared inside without a word. Luca didn't say anything either. He simply walked beside Sophia, their footsteps soft on the flagstone, their shadows stretched by moonlight. At the steps of the guest house, he paused. Sophia turned, fingers brushing the doorknob. "You don't have to walk me all the way." "I wanted to," he said. Her eyes lifted to his, searching for what else he wasn't saying. But he didn't move, didn't push, just waited, present and still. She pushed the door open slowly. He followed her inside. The room was quiet, lit only by the small lamp over the counter, and the moon spilling through the sheer curtains. Sophia slipped off her sandals, the cool tile grounding her again. Luca stood near the doorway, one hand braced lightly on the frame, as if giving himself one last chance to turn back. He didn't. When the silence stretched, she turned to him. "Would you like tea?" "No." Her breath hitched. Something stronger. His voice was quieter now. "No." A beat passed. Then he crossed the space between them. Slowly, deliberately. Sophia didn't move, not away, not forward. But when he reached her, her hand rose instinctively to his chest, fingertips grazing the buttons of his shirt. "You sure?" she whispered, voice barely audible over her pulse. "I've been sure," he said. "I just wasn't ready." And then, finally, he kissed her. It wasn't hesitant this time. It was slow, yes, but deep, unfiltered. The kind of kiss that unraveled something in both of them. His hand found the small of her back, pulling her gently closer. Hers slid to his jaw, her thumb brushing the curve just beneath his cheekbone. They moved in sync without thinking, bodies fitting like memory. The space between them disappeared, replaced with breath and skin and shared gravity. He tasted like wine and firelight. She felt like heat and home. When the kiss finally broke, they didn't step apart. Luca rested his forehead against hers, breath uneven, his fingers still grazing the curve of her waist beneath the hem of her blouse. "I should go," he murmured, though he didn't move. Sophia let her hands trail down his arms, slow and steady, until they reached his wrists. "Then go," she said, almost daring him. He didn't. Instead, he kissed her again, deeper this time, mouth parting hers with something close to need. Her back found the edge of the kitchen counter, and his hand braced beside her, not to trap, but to anchor. The air between them shifted. He was everywhere, mouth, breath, hands. But it wasn't reckless. It was deliberate, measured, like he wanted to memorize how she fit against him. Her hands slipped under his shirt, fingertips brushing the lean plane of his back. He hissed softly at the contact but didn't stop her. When he pulled back again, eyes dark and searching, she didn't look away. "Stay," she whispered. "I won't sleep," he warned. She smiled faintly. "Me neither." He traced a line from her jaw to her collarbone, his touch feather light. "Not yet," he said. She nodded, heart thudding. They moved to the couch, neither ready to break the rhythm by retreating to the bed. Luca sat first, and she followed, curling against him slowly, one leg tucked beneath her, the other brushing his thigh. The quiet returned, but it wasn't empty. It was full, dense with everything unspoken. Sophia leaned into him, her head resting on his shoulder. "In New York," she said, after a long pause, "I was surrounded by people, but I always felt like I was performing. The curated version of me. Smiling, sharp, untouchable." Luca didn't interrupt. His hand slipped into her hair, slowly undoing the pins, untumbled over her shoulder. She exhaled against him. "But here, sometimes I catch myself forgetting the performance. Forgetting to pretend." His lips brushed her temple. "Good. I didn't expect that." He shifted to face her more fully, fingertips brushing the side of her neck. "What did you expect?" She thought about it. "To run again. Or to stay only until I stopped feeling lost. And now?" She looked at him then, really looked. "I don't feel lost," she said. He didn't answer. He just pulled her closer. Their mouths met again, soft and searching, as if the first kiss had only opened the door, and this one walked them through it. His touch never rushed. Her breath never faltered. Time blurred. Moonlight slipping over floorboards, the sound of the vineyard settling for the night outside. When she eventually rose to dim the lamp, Luca reached for her wrist and stilled her. "Don't turn off the light," he said. She looked down at him, surprised. "I want to see you," he added softly. "Hair, like this." She didn't reply. She just came back to him, curling beside him again, her bare feet tucked beneath his thigh, her arm around his waist. Outside, the wind rustled the fig tree leaves. Inside, everything slowed. No declarations, no timelines, just the warmth of skin against skin. And a quiet that finally, mercifully, felt like peace.